Hi, everybody. I'm Traven Rice. This is the Lowdown Culture Cast, and we're back after a short break from a little time off this summer. We're back here on Orchard Street. It's now the end of, heading towards the end of summer 2024. And we're talking to culture changers here in the neighborhood of all types. Excited today to be talking with Luis Fernandez, who is the partner of the popular Forsyth Fire Escape, which started in 2021 during COVID. And his partner at the time, Isabel Lee, created scallion pancakes and burritos. So they were inspired by her Californian roots and her Chinese and Thai background and Luis's Dominican background. So they served the burritos during COVID, literally by lowering them in a bucket out the window of down the fire escape. And that was how everything took off, I would say. They became a big hit, and they had lines around the block. And right when they started gaining traction, the landlord served a cease and desist letter threatening a lawsuit by the end of the day. So the story goes that they pivoted with the local bodega and had been serving burritos every Sunday on a preorder basis, and then doing specials and events and pop-ups. And you've been sold out each Sunday since then, and have since opened a 6-month residency at Olly Olly Market in Chelsea. How was that?
Pretty close. Pretty good, honestly. That was great. Yeah, we were doing it out of the fire escape, sold out every week for like a year and a half, and the bodega for like a year and a half. Then once we moved to Olly Olly, that's when it became not pre-order based. So then we made it almost impossible to sell out because we were tired of hearing people telling us like, you always sell out. I drove from Connecticut. I drove from Philadelphia. I drove from New Jersey. We would hear those things.
Yeah.
So we're like, we have to make enough food for the hours that we're operating out of.
Yeah.
So, but for pop-ups, we definitely sell out.
Yeah.
So get there early.
Okay.
For sure.
So please tell us the story of how this burrito came to be, this culture mashup.
Yeah, so me and Isabel moved from Los Angeles to New York, and she was very homesick, and I felt at home, honestly, because there's so many Dominican people around. There was no Dominican people in LA. I'm sure there were some. I ran into one in the 4 years I lived there, and now he lives in New York. So, yeah. And she was homesick, making scallion pancakes and making chili crisp oil. She was just cooking, you know. For her, food is comfort. And for me, I'm just happy to be around Dominicans again. So I'm just eating all the Dominican food I could possibly find and bring home for her because I know she enjoys food so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I think naturally just her making scallion pancakes and then me eating Dominican food all the time, you know, she's like trying to create something. She's seeing me like paint and make music and ship clothes. And she's like, I should be a little bit more creative too. I was like, you are creative. You're cooking all the time. You're creating all these recipes, etc. So long story short, I was like, why don't you just fuse these two things? You become the chef and we just like start selling this stuff. I'm always thinking about how to make money.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I don't know. It's not ready. I was like, just do it. She's like, maybe we could drop it out of a bucket. I'm like, I don't think we need a bucket. She's like, no, I think we need the bucket. The bucket like put us on too, you know?
Yeah.
And which was really cool to see her just kind of lean into that.
And it sort of really took off on Instagram first, right?
For sure. And, you know, and I've had years of experience working in the kitchen. So I was like, I'll be the host. I'll go downstairs and I'll talk to people.
Okay.
And she's launching the food. And we got a lot of great feedback from the community. You know, a lot of the Asian community was like, I don't really like this scallion pancake. Oh, I love this scallion pancake. I love this pernil. Mm-hmm. And like we learned as we grew, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, which is super important because you never know when something is going to pass you. You know, if you sit down and you wait too long on an idea, like that moment might pass you and might never, you know, sliding in a bottle. As my girlfriend says, it's just like, we just caught that.
Yeah.
And we just went crazy.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I know there's a lot of talk about the different cultures on the coast. What's the difference between the Dominican food and the Chinese and Thai food on the West Coast in LA versus here?
I'll be real with you. They don't really eat that much. I don't really eat that much food. People are always confused by that. Like, but I ate so much dim sum in LA, I feel like that's what Isabel was really putting me onto. I ate a lot of dim sum. Where like here, I'm eating so much hot pot. Like we're eating so much hot pot. I love hot pot. And like KBBQ, eating that a lot more here. And then as far as like the street element food of it all, like I personally, again, shout out to LA. There's more here. It's more innovative here from what I have been exposed to.
Well, and a bigger Dominican community.
I'm talking about the Chinese first.
Okay.
Chinese and Thai, but the Dominican food, yeah, I mean, it's 100%. It's like, there's nothing over there. In LA, at least where I lived, in my neighborhoods, in Echo Park, Silver Lake, Los Feliz, downtown. I lived in all those areas. Glasso Park, no. There was no Dominican food. I went to Hollywood. Shout outs to the Dominican the restaurant. I don't remember the name. I'm not going to plug in the name. But it just wasn't Dominican food. It wasn't Dominican food. I know what Dominican food looks like. I know what Dominican people look like. And I'm looking in the back. I'm like, nobody is Dominican. And I could tell because I forgot what I asked him, but I said, I was like, do you have Mauricio Ñando? He's like, what? I was like, oh no, we got to get out of here.
Like that.
Mauricio Ñando is just like a citrusy juice. It's like an orange juice with like milk in it. It's like super sweet. It's the standard. It's a standard Dominican drink. So it's just like for someone not to know what that is in a Dominican restaurant is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like going to a Thanksgiving dinner. It's like not knowing what stuffing is. It's like that.
Yeah.
The equivalent of that.
Okay. So you were happy to come to this coast
anywhere.
Yeah, and have a lot of Dominican food.
The worst Dominican food is going to be the best Dominican food here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just amazing everywhere. At least for me and all the places I've tried. So
yeah. Okay. So you decided to just do this crazy mashup, and it really took off.
It took off.
And you had some followers online. You said that helped, some big fans. And
yeah, we had some small accounts that became big accounts that later when they kind of looped back around, I was like, oh wow, that page is huge now. Shout out to Hungry Artist. Like he had a couple thousand followers and he's really our friend. So that's the difference. Like we never paid influencers to do anything. Like influencers would hit us up. Yeah. And it just happened. It just happened organically. We weren't paying nobody. We couldn't afford to pay anybody. Yeah. Like so with all these things, it's just like having a cooking page, me and Isabel, and then starting this business, like I don't know why I put in quotation, it's a whole ass business. Starting this business is just like the communities, you can feel the community within it, like people walking by just looking up at it's like, are they serving the burritos? Yeah, they're serving the burritos. People are like, what are you looking up at, bro? It's like there's these people upstairs that lower food out of a bucket. And during the pandemic, like right place, right time, people are bored, people wanting to get out of the house. So if you haven't had it, it is a scallion pancake wrapped with different types of pork and different seasoning. So it's one pork. So it's scallion pancake, guacamole, queso blanco, which is Dominican cheese, which we fry, pernil, which is Dominican pulled pork, slow cooked. It takes 24 to 48 hours to marinate. We put it in the oven for 4 to 5 hours. And the recipe came from my mom. We're like FaceTiming my mom, just like, how do you make this? And then my mom's like, take a dash of this, a dash of that, because moms don't measure anything. And she, and then Isabel had to take that information, and we had to take that information, actually make measurements out of it, you know, tweaked it a little bit. And then we have our house-made chili crust oil that Isabel makes, which is incredible. So it's Chinese and Thai. So it's different, has Thai flavors, and the lemongrass really brings it out. It's amazing. And then we wrap it. Nice. And then we cut it. Yeah. Great. I've had it. And I couldn't eat that every day, but it's delicious. No. You shouldn't eat it every day. And so I know people that do, but the record is still 6. Somebody ate 6 in one sitting. Oh no. It's one of my best friends. His name is like Joshua Whitaker. Oh no. 6'6", the monster of a man. Okay. So it's still very beloved around here. And I know it sounds like the pop-up's going well, but tell us about your next project, which is another pop-up. So Feitos, right? Feitos, it's you know, it's my baby now. So what I'm trying to do with Feitos is that I'm coming back to the bodega. I'm coming back to Don Juan's, right? Working with all the people that made everything happen. Working with Johanny Lopez. He's the founder of the bodega sauce, which is a side sauce, and you can find it in jars as well at Don Juan's and at Forsyth. And people use it as the side, and people dunk it in there. I'm working with Johanny on my first fried chicken sandwich. I'm working with Gus because it's his business, and he allows me to operate out of there, which is incredible. As a small business, as a starting business, to not have to pay, we're in the Lower East Side, $19,000 a month for a location is a blessing. But also, it's like, that's where I started. I want to go back to my roots. I'm going to be doing the hand-drawn bags, just like I did at Forsyth. People are collecting them with the grease and framing them. I have photos in my phone of people framing them. And I'm bringing, just like me as a creative person, I want to keep things innovative. I want to learn. I want to grow as well, working with some really cool chefs. I'm working with Ronnie Sue. She owns Ronnie Sue on Forsyth as well, keeping it right on the block.
She makes chocolate.
She makes chocolate. She's a chocolatier.
Yeah.
She's making this incredible truffle with the bodega sauce.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Lower East Side legend. She's been here for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have a rotating menu. I'm working with a lot of cool restaurants. And
it's once a month.
And it's once a month. And then I'm going to, once I feel a little bit more comfortable, bi-weekly, and then hopefully weekly, and then get a brick and mortar for sure. But I'm going to start September 8th at Don Juan's pre-orders. You can find it on at Feitos NYC on Instagram. You can follow Luis Fernandez. I post a lot of stuff there too.
Okay. And tell us about the name.
So Feitos comes from, Luis Fernandez is my artist name. Ugly Family Clothing is my clothing line. And Feito is just like small ugly boy. And it's like a term of endearment. My dad used to call me Fail all the time. And it's a term of endearment, actually, believe it or not. Yeah, it's very common in Spanish-speaking cultures to be called gordito, fea, or bruja, like all these things that if you translate them in Spanish, in English, they're just very mean words, but that's not how we get down.
Yeah.
So feitos is just like, I don't know. I feel like when I'm making art, I feel like a child again. I feel that I don't know, that creativity makes me feel like a little kid again. So I feel like feitos, it brings me to like my most natural state where I just want to be creative and free and do whatever I want and mess up a bunch of times and know that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's where the ugly comes from.
Oh, nice.
What makes you ugly is what makes you unique. It's not always like, it's not a determining factor of who you are. It's just,
Yeah. And how did you decide what are these first pieces that are going to be the first elements of the menu for your first day?
I love fried chicken. And I wanted to, and I was thinking, what's the easiest thing that I could possibly do that people love? And how can I collaborate with as many people as possible with something that people love? So I'm doing a fried chicken sandwich with Johanny's, the bodega sauce. That's how we're going to make it spicy. We're also using Mike's hot honey to make it nice, sweet and spicy, So we're bringing that Dominican element of putting that queso blanco. We're going to fry that cheese on top of it, put some mayonnaise in there, and then we're going to do the bun, of course. But it's a lot of collaboration. Like, that's who I am as a person. I love collaborating with people. I love putting people on, but like, Mike's hot honey's putting me on. And that's the family. Mike is from Amherst. I'm from Amherst. That's where I was raised. So it's just like, I didn't even know that. And so he's friends with my girlfriend. And so it's just like bringing the community together and doing all these things together is just awesome. That's what I want to do. And then the ensalada rusa, it's just like a standard staple. You're going to find it at Dominican household. It's a salad with peas and carrots and beets. So rusa is Russian. So it's like a Russian Dominican salad. It's also fusion in a way. And it's also, it's just, I think it translates into what I want to do and how I want to do things,
Yeah. It like, sounds like Lower East Side.
It sounds like Lower East Side, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So it's just like, I just wanted to do one item and my girlfriend was just like, why don't we just add the ensalada rusa? I felt overwhelmed. But I was like, I'm already doing like sides of like these jars and I'm doing print and I'm doing all these stuff. I'm like, what's another item? Like, and a potato salad with a fried chicken sandwich. That sounds amazing. So why not? And it's fun to taste things, and just like see how they will go together.
And so this is going to be pre-order on Instagram? Or?
Yes. So tomorrow I'm making it live. Today is August 21st. August 22nd, it's going to go live. I sent out a bunch of the private links. And tomorrow I'll make it live, and then I'm going to make a limited amount and get them and they'll sell out. And then I'll be back next month with something cool and innovative and fun. So
in the meantime, where are you? What do you do in between there? Are you going to be back at
I'm going to be everywhere. I don't know. I mean, I don't like, okay, so where am I going to be? That's an actual question. Where am I going to be? Okay, I'm going to be testing out a bunch of recipes, going to be working on some clothes. I'm going to the studio to finish my album right now. Like, I'm very close to finishing my album. I'm also a musician, like I said. I have a bunch of merch that I have to ship out for Feitos. There's a lot of things that I got to get done. You know, obviously I'm talking to Isabel right now, trying to be more innovative, trying to grow, trying to do more cool things, new things. Got to start working with another couple restaurants, doing some consulting stuff. I'm doing
Nice, excellent.
how to do everything.
So you came out of the pandemic just fine, it sounds like.
The pandemic was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. It forced me to take a step back and do whatever I want to do it whenever I want to do it because all I had was time. But that's how I've always moved anyway. So I'm just like, well, now technically I can't go outside. Technically I have to stay inside and work on art, which is how I moved. But now I was super forced to do that. And it just gave me a different, gave me as an adult to have the freedom to stop and think and grow. That's huge. Yeah. You could do that when you're 18, 19, 20, But like being 30 and 29, 28 years old and be like, wait, I can't go out to the clubs. I don't go out to clubs, but I just love saying going crazy in the club. Yeah. I can't go out to the bars. I can't just party with my friends and waste time. It's like, it's your time to waste. And that's a beautiful thing. It's like, it's your time to gain something from it. So like, I started a clothing line during the pandemic. I started recording music every week during the pandemic. I started working out during the pandemic. I started a restaurant during the pandemic. I started painting during the pandemic. I came out the pandemic doing an album release party and galleries and shipping clothes all over the world and paintings all over the world and having people from all over the world trying our food. So it's like...
You made the most of it.
It was sick for me.
Okay. Awesome.
I mean, I didn't love it, but I don't want to say that. But
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can you tell us about the Bodega Summer Series?
Okay, so
yeah, I heard about that.
So it's actually intertwines really well with the community-based thing I was talking about earlier. So the Bodega Summer Series is something that we do every year out of the bodega. So we take these restaurants that have their own spaces or they don't. So it's like last year we did it with Smackwich. They do a Wagyu chopped cheese. We did it with 7th Street Burger, literally right across the street, and now literally everywhere, etc. Right? So this year we did Pecking House, right? Pecking House is dope. Hen House, dope. And what we do is we bring them to the bodega and we do pre-orders and we do a collab of a mashup of the cultures and the experiences and blah, blah, blah. But we bring them back to our spot and we do a collab. So what Feitos is pretty much just like, instead of it being a seasonal bodega summer series, it's gonna be like a yearly. Yeah. It's just a bodega series.
Okay.
So you're going to be able to go to the bodega and get these like cool, unique items that you can only find at Don Juan's.
Nice.
Well, no, Spain, I'll go to another bodega and do something else in another city. That's what I really want to do. I think that'd be really cool to do a bodega tour.
Oh, yeah.
And do like all the bodegas, like do a bodega in like Chicago. I want to do a bodega tour in New York. I want to go to Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Staten Island. I want to go to all the boroughs, find one bodega and do a pop-up out of it. And then just do like a world tour of bodegas, like the world tour bodegas like series.
How long has that been going on? The summer series?
This is our second year.
Okay, yeah.
Our last, we just did Hen House. We did Hen House and we did Pecking House. And we're doing Regina's Groceries, but we're doing it at their spot. So this year was a little bit smaller than last year. Last year, I think we had 5 restaurants. This year, we're doing 2.5, but it's a lot of cool projects going on. Isabel's working really hard over there at Forsyth to expand this menu and do a lot of cool stuff. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I think that's fantastic. Keep us posted. Good luck with all of it.
I got you.
And thanks again for stopping in.
I had a great time. You're the best.